Hi, welcome to the Daddykirbs farm. We are going to get into the bee yard today. We're going to look at some beehives. I want to talk a little bit about that experience I just had at the Homesteaders of America conference in Virginia, the HOA. It was fabulous. Yes, I'm walking away from the apiary for a second because I forgot my smoker. Hey, Maggie. Found it. Let's talk a little bit about the Homesteaders of America conference while I get this thing lit. Well, that didn't take long. Hopefully it stays lit this time. So about the conference. It was an amazing experience. I would highly encourage you guys to go at some point to any of these conferences. The Homesteading Live Conference in Missouri, the Homesteaders of America in Virginia, and coming up in just a couple weeks for me is the Good of the Land Fest here in Temple, Texas. I'm looking really forward to meeting some new people at that and some of the people I've already met there before. But the HOA, the experience this past weekend, I don't even know how to put it in words. Hanging out with so many creators and like-minded people was just exhilarating. I got to see so many people that I've only seen online. For years I've been associated with the homesteading niche here on YouTube and on blogs and such, and seeing people in the flesh was just really cool. Getting to shake their hand, hear their stories, hug their necks. It was a real blessing for me. I hope they felt the same way. Coming up in just a couple weeks, like I said, is the Good of the Land Fest. Justin, with the Good of the Land channel here on YouTube, is organizing that event there in Temple, Texas. The goal is, as I understand it, to let people get in an environment where they can get their hands dirty and see how to make things. There's a lot of metal forging, welding, blacksmithing, really cool stuff going on there. There are a few homesteaders like myself. I'll have my Hive Butler Totes full of honey, and we'll be extracting honey and doing some beekeeping demonstrations. So I hope to see you there. If not, maybe next year you can come out and check us out. Today I'm using my Hive Butler Tote to bring out some frames. I wasn't sure if I was going to need to replace frames, maybe take some honey out. These are frames that I had in the freezer. I put them in the freezer to make sure there's no larvae alive, no eggs alive of wax moth or anything else. So they carry real nicely in here. I brought the ventilated lid just in case I need to slide a frame down in here that has bees and a queen on it for storage. Not sure if I'll need it, but there it is just in case. Still haven't properly fixed my veil. Let's take a look here in the Gretchen Bee Ranch hive first. This is the one that I reduced down to 1 deep last time. That was just a medium box that I left on top of there. It had some comb on it. It's mostly just empty dry frames, but it did have some wax on it, and I was letting them clean it off. Looks like they did a pretty good job. So those frames are out here available if I need them. When you reuse your gloves, if they don't get too tore up, sometimes they get stuck together, so you have to expand it a little bit just by blowing in it. Oh boy, yeah. No queen on top. Lots of bees here. Some gentle smoke just to drive them down a little bit. Uh-oh, we got a little bit of a problem here. There's a beetle. But more than beetles, look at this. Those are wax moth. All of these little cocoons on here, that's wax moth. Let's see how the hive's doing. First of all, we're going to scrape these off. moth. That's a wax moth. That's a wax moth larva right there. Really good for fishing bait. Not so good for a beehive. We got some more up here. They tend to just hang out and they cocoon up in the tops and they eat the wood. They eat into the wood hives. So we're just going to make sure those are not anywhere stuck on the hive. Hopefully inside we're okay. I do see a little bit of their webbing. That's not good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at that. That is not good. That's been eaten out completely right here. That's all from the wax moth. Yeah, that's terrible. You can see that guy right there trying to hang on, trying to find out where he's supposed to be. Yep, lots of it there. Lots of damage. Just got to get all that off. There's wax moth in there. Wonder how well they burn. So I'm definitely taking these frames back to the freezer. I'm going to get some of those other frames that I have in the tote, in the Hive Butler, and I'm going to get these out of here, the ones that are most infected. It looks like it was mostly down on this one end. Yeah, this frame looks good. This one's nice and clean. I got a little bit of honey on that one, but not much. So this hive, it's a really good thing that I got it down to just one deep box. It should be fairly easy to find the queen in this one. When I hold that up to the sunlight on my back, with the sunlight on my back, it's easier to see down into those cells, and I can see eggs. So my queen should be okay. Let's just see if we can see her. There is a lot of young larvae in this one. Uh-oh. You see a little bit of wax moth damage in this one too. Not on this frame, but the one that's following. Still haven't seen that queen. Alright, so they have some honey on this one, but on this side you can see more of that wax moth damage. I'm going to shake these bees off and take this frame out as well. And the last frame, still no queen, no wax moth. Okay, I don't see her, but there definitely was eggs. And hopefully after getting all this wax moth damage out and some new frames put in, they'll be in better shape. Let me give you a better look over here. This is that frame that has a lot of wax moth damage. They build these web-like cocoons. Look at all those larvae in there. Just living in there waiting to grow up to become wax moth. This frame, I'm going to clean out real good here because there's a lot of larvae just kind of rolling around in there. Get all that wax out. That whole area was infested. So this one's going in the freezer. Let's grab our Hive Butler tote with some frames, and let's get this one all doctored up. I haven't very often come into a situation where there's wax moth damage and the hive's not dead. So I caught this one not early enough, but a little earlier than what would be the final mark of this hive. Hopefully by taking those infested frames out, putting new frames in, getting the infested frames put in the freezer, I can stop this before I lose this hive. I definitely don't want to add any extra frames to the top of that hive with all of that stress from those the invaders, the pests. So I'm just going to keep it down on one box. Hopefully they can build that out, recover, and then we'll come back later and put another box on whenever they need it. Now let's turn our attention to these three hives over here. Pulling the top off that, the only thing I saw so far were some spiders' webs, and that, even though they might eat a few bees, I'm generally okay seeing the spiders in the top. So let's see what's down inside here. Alright, good activity on top. I like to see it when there's a lot of bees. Not because they need to be on top, but just if there's a lot of bees in here, that just gives me the first impression the hive's doing okay. So this hive is on 1 deep and 2 mediums, with no queen excluder. So this box was added last time. Looks like I checkerboarded or staggered some empty frames in the honey frames. This one's still empty. All of my hives, oh, this is interesting. All of my hives are in full sun. So just in case you're wondering, because there is some logic that if they're in full sun, the wax moths have a harder time getting a foothold. Look at that right there. It's a snail. You see that? Somehow a snail got in there. Got stuck in the wax. It's getting a little late in the day. I came out late. Took Luke to Houston to a doctor's appointment today. It was a 3-hour drive. So we spent most of the morning on the road. This one they're filling out with honey quite nicely. Oh yeah. They're doing a very nice job filling this top box up right now. Nothing's ready to take inside. That's a very heavy frame there. That's good. I don't see any brood up here. That's also very good. We don't want brood up in the honey box, which is why most people use queen excluders. There is some risk of the brood being in that second box, but a little less risk in this third box. That is a beautiful frame of honey right there. So yeah, they're doing a nice job. Not completely full, but doing a great job getting those resources put up here. Okay, we're going to take this box off and look down in that second box. On that first frame there, on the outside, a lot of honey, some empty comb on the back side, and no brood, which is pretty much what I expected. Let's see. As we move closer to the center, the chances of some brood is a little higher. Packing more honey on that one. The bees are really calm at this point. That's nice. It's always nice when the bees aren't out to kill you. Same thing there, no brood, honey on both sides, more on the inside than the outside. Same thing there, we got honey on both sides. They haven't filled it up, but they are working on it. There could be a little brood on these inside ones here. Let's take a look. I don't see a queen, I don't see any eggs. There is capped brood on here, but I don't see any new brood, any larvae, or eggs. There is brood on this one. There's larvae down in these cells. I don't see any eggs, but I do see larvae. I do see eggs on this side. So this is definitely a brood nest in the middle of the second box, which is okay. Little bit of smoke to confuse them. Got somebody a little irritated there. Yep, got me. Hit me fast. Came right out. Little bit of smoke. I don't want to drown them in smoke. I just want to do a little bit to take the scent away. Wherever they hit me, they're going to smell that pheromone. A lot of brood on this one. So they have a very nice looking brood nest. I don't see any beetles. A couple of old queen cups. No beetles, no wax moths. So this hive appears to be doing well. And lots more brood. A very nice brood nest in this second box. Alright, I'm not going to dig down in that bottom box. It's getting late in the day and I want to get through the other hives. And I just want to put this one back together. I talked to Justin from the Good of the Land Fest today. He's excited about what's going on. Lots of people signing up. Tickets will sell out, so if you're interested, you need to get in there and get your ticket. Temple, Texas, it's a nice place to hang out, visit with friends, learn a few things, come out, hang out with me for a little bit. Next hive. The hive we're getting ready to open has fewer bees on the front. That's just something I noticed right at first. You can notice the amount there and there. It's just more than there. It's not. It doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but it is a first observation. No beetles so far. I like that I'm not seeing a whole lot of beetles. That's good. Fewer bees on top of this one too, so maybe I'll have to reduce this down back down to the 2 boxes. Let's just see how they're doing. Yeah, definitely nothing. They did build a little bit of comb. This is above the queen excluder, so they have 2 deeps and this medium all above that queen. I mean, yeah, the medium above the queen, so there's nothing there. I think I was a little too hopeful for this one last time. Nothing. These are, this is a honey frame that I put in here last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago now. That's a big fat honey frame right there. I think I'm going to take that one back to the house. We have a little bit of honey here. That's probably left over from last time. Some wonky comb. Go ahead and get that out so they can start over. We don't need that causing a problem. So almost everything above this queen excluder is empty. I really thought they were going to be doing more work up here. So I'm going to take this box off right now, see what's going on in the box below it. Should have worn my cool vest. It's getting warm. Yeah, when there's no bees or honey, these frames are very easy to maneuver. Let's take this queen excluder off. I kind of hate this part. There's the beetle trap. You can see a few beetles stuck in there. Again, they may have been from last week. Lots of good wax, good comb, some pollen going in there. No honey yet. Some honey being built on that one. Some of that funky comb, wonky comb. That's a whole lot of pollen. I wish you guys could really see that. There's a lot of pollen, or the bee bread. Pollen cake. That's a full frame of resources right there. Okay, this is a frame of brood. You can see all that pollen. You can see a queen cup in the middle, queen cell. It's empty. There's nothing in it, but it's hanging on there. Lots of larvae down in that one. You can see it real easy when you get the sun on your back, and that sun shines right down in there. This is a nice time of day for seeing into the frames. There's a lot of brood there. When it starts to get late, there's bees coming in from the field, and I just would rather not be in the hive when there's all that traffic coming home. The evening commute. Okay, this is looking good. This hive right now is looking very nice. They weren't doing anything in that upper box, so just to be sure, just to be safe, I'm not going to leave it on, because I don't want to give beetles and wax moths a foothold by giving the bees too much real estate. I definitely have eggs. Oh, that one's really heavy. Lots of honey going on. This side, you can see all that thick honeycomb there. Lots of pollen and nectar on this side. They're building honey. Alright, that's got a lot of wax on it that I put on there, but nothing being built out. I'm going to slide that one in between here. I don't really have to dig. I saw eggs. I saw brood. Lots of resources. This hive's doing fine. Next week, we probably can put another box on here. All of that depends on, how the resources are coming in, what's available. The last vertical hive here, we'll check that out, then we'll get into the horizontal hive. I'm pretty excited about seeing that one, actually. I see a little more activity in the top of this one, but still not a lot of bees. I can smell that defense pheromone. They're not coming out, but I can smell it. It's kind of odd to smell that and not have bees coming out at you. I suppose there's a chance I'm smelling some other pheromone that's not defense. Okay, this one's really nice and heavy. That's a lot of, this is really just a solid honey frame. Same thing here. Solid honey. It's not 100% full, but they're doing a lot of good work there. I do have the queen excluder. This is 2 deeps and a medium with the queen excluder between the deeps and the medium. So this one's looking good. Yeah, it looks like it was the right move putting the box on this one. If I did, I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure I did. I can hear them a little bit. They haven't come out yet, but the smell and the sound, I kind of expect this one to get riled up. It's that towel I put on there for beetles. I don't see any beetles. They did fluff it up nicely. I'll just put that down here. Oh, okay, this is, I put that deep in here. They are building some wax. You can see that wax on there. So they're building it out. Yeah, they are building new comb. Okay, here's one in the middle that has more comb on it than the others. This is one that I'm sure had it on there from before. So they have a queen cell, nothing in it. That's the queen cell right there. That one that's sticking out there. Right there. You probably can hear this one getting a little more riled up. They have some of that wonky comb on this side. They do have some brood on this one. So the brood nest is on one frame, right in the center. Another queen cell. And don't see eggs. I find it easier to see eggs on the darker comb. They have some young larvae, but I don't see eggs. And this is a very experienced frame here. Lots of wax. Oh my goodness, that's nice and heavy. Mostly nectar, honey. I don't see any brood, and it makes sense because it's on the outside. Alright, we're going to put that back. We are going to take this off. I want to get down one box deeper just to see what's going on. I'm pretty sure when I took that off and took my first glance down in here, I saw that queen right there on that frame. When I started talking, they all moved, so they can hear me, they can feel the vibrations and smell my breath. Uh-oh, I see a wax moth larva right there. Building up in that propolis between the... getting hot. A lot of activity. A lot of activity. These bees are way more excited than the other bees. Way more excited. A lot of activity going on here. There's definitely a lot of eggs and a lot of larvae in this one, so that brood nest is all the way over. So they're very excited, but they're not coming out to get me. I don't see the queen on here. So I've seen eggs, seen larvae. I don't see any wax moth damage. They have a lot of brood, a lot of nectar. Yeah, this is a very excited hive. My goodness. I'm going to try to do this without squashing a bunch of bees. All those bees. I can smell a lot of different pheromones going on. Okay. I don't see any beetles. I don't see any wax moths except for that one little larva that was in the edge. This beehive has a lot of brood. Got one on the glove. Little stinger there. Alright, I'm going to smoke this and put them back and just say they're good. They're fine. They're in good shape. I'm puffing just a little bit of smoke down below these bees. Maybe they'll go back up into the hive. They all climbed out on the edge, hanging out on the edge. I want them to clear that edge so I can put that box back on. That one's got a lot of bees. I could have probably reduced that one down to the medium or the 2 deeps as well, but they have so many bees. I think as soon as we get just a little bit of resource, a little bit of rain, some pollen and nectar, they're finding it from somewhere already, but it's still been pretty dry here in Texas. Maybe they're just waiting for that perfect moment to fill those up and just fill that hive up. It already looks pretty good. Alright, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are here to see what's going on inside of the horizontal hive. Me too, because this is the style of hive that I really want to go to on a full-time basis. overall, I'm pretty satisfied with what's going on. You know, of course, I don't like the wax moth problem in that first hive, and I do wish there was a little bit more going on in some of these others. But I think mostly the bees are looking pretty good. I got to get the wax moth frames into the freezer. I'm really, really interested to see how it turns out taking these frames to the Good of the Land Fest and doing that honey extraction right there on site. Should be a good time. Yeah, hot out there. It's very good to get out there and get that done so I can see how the hives are doing. If I would have left that first hive unchecked, within a week or two it would have been completely destroyed by those wax moths. Hopefully I got to it soon enough and that's not going to be a problem. I do hope to see you at the Good of the Land Fest coming up at October 26, 2019. There in Temple, Texas. Buy your tickets now. They're going to sell out. Everyone has a story and every story counts. I'd love to hear your story there at the fest. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your story tonight through this video. And thanks for being a part of mine. I'll talk to you soon.